Fortnite Battle Royale is by far one of the most polarizing video games out there right now. You either love it or you hate it. Rarely is someone indifferent. The reasons for this are numerous. On one hand, Fortnite is viewed as a mechanically in-depth game with a deep emphasis on building, featuring numerous weapons, an ever-changing map, infinite content, and a bustling community. But on the other hand, it's also seen as catering towards young children with the hordes of shoehorned in-skin collaborations, along with the significant de-emphasizing of the core shooter components in favor of prioritizing spam building and random game elements. This element of building is the core subject of today's video. This is because with the latest Fortnite season, old fans are coming back in troves due to a huge building change, and today we're going to talk about exactly why this is happening. Fortnite Battle Royale, for the entire history of this game, has always had a precarious balance between shooting and building. On one hand, it is a third-person shooter, but it also has a significant building component that at this point defines the game. I've always been of the opinion that building isn't bad in Fortnite, I just wanted shooting emphasized over it. And as turbo building was introduced in Season 2 and spam building became the norm, my love for this game smoldered. So fast forward to 2022, and with the latest Fortnite season, building has been vaulted for the next week. This is to get players accustomed to the new movement mechanics, which include sprinting and parkour. It's a really significant change to the game, so adding the movement plus keeping building would probably be too much at one time. But inadvertently, Epic Games has brought back the feeling of Season 0 Fortnite where nobody knew how to build. Or has it? The first thing I'll say is it definitely feels better than normal Fortnite, as with no building you need to think a lot more about your decisions, and that makes the game a lot more intense. Normally, if you get shot, you just do some 90s and go and pull up some cover and you'll be okay for a bit to pop some shields, etc, etc. But with no building, you're forced to be a lot more aware and heavily utilize not only cover, but shock horror, the new movement mechanics. Now the movement itself is pretty good, quick sprints up the pace and the parkour elements open up the map. However, there is a point to be made that the map has lots of super open areas, so no building feels a bit rough in that regard, and that makes sense. But to go and compensate, they have added the overshield, which makes everyone a bit harder to kill, and that eases things up, especially if you go and utilize that new movement to really go and close the gaps. But most importantly, the focus is put back on the shooting, which is awesome. You have to rely on aim and also movement to get kills, and this just feels like what I've been missing. Fortnite feels much more like a classic arcade shooter now, and it's really fun, but Fortnite is different for a reason. While removing building makes it more accessible to basically everyone, it also limits combat creativity, which isn't good as the core element of being able to create your own cover and dynamically approach fights is really important. Now people have been calling for this no build mode to be a permanent addition to the game, but to be honest, I don't think that's the right move. Building is such a crucial element to Fortnite that removing it completely will make it feel generic and hollow. There needs to be a balance. No building means anyone can play it, which is fantastic, but it will definitely be boring after a while. But having crazy turbo building though just feels terrible to play against, and is a core reason why so many people have left the game. It's also extremely unfriendly to older players coming back and trying Fortnite again. The mechanical difficulty of complex building is so high that you just feel helpless against it if you haven't played for a while. So what solutions are there? Change building too much and you might get old players back, but at the cost of alienating the current player base. There needs to be a compromise. One suggestion could be a much lower materials limit. That would force players to use their materials in a more strategic way and also incentivize high level gunplay. Big build fights could still technically be possible, but they'll be de-incentivized to focus on a fairer balance between building and shooting. Yes, you can go and do a massive build battle and take on this guy, but it's a high risk, high reward tactic, because if you don't kill him, then you're going to be left with nothing. That would open up lots of different playstyles and make it more accessible to many people, but still enable the type of gameplay that Fortnite is known for. Another alternative could be a smaller, more close quarters map, similar in concept to Rebirth Island from Warzone, but in this there would be no building functionality. There would be lots of structures and less open ground, making it much more viable as a permanent addition to the game. But let me know what you think about this no build mode in the comments section below.